So then, last night broke some news which United fans are not taking too well. I think it'd be safe to say, and that is that Cody Gakpo has agreed terms to sign for Liverpool. Seemingly a long-standing target. United were interested in Gakpo in the summer. Seemed like they were definitely going back in for him in January. And even yesterday morning, it seemed to be a lot of signs, and a lot of journalists were saying that, yeah, United are in the mix. And then by the end of last night's games, he was basically a Liverpool player. And they've probably signed one of the most informed forwards in Europe this season. So a little bit of a shock, to say the least. So here was the reports last night. David Ornstein, as always, being one of the first with how it is. Liverpool reached an agreement to sign Cody Gakpo from PSV Eindhoven. Fee will be 40 to 50 million euros. He'll travel to England for a medical and seal a switch. United and Chelsea considered, but he chose Liverpool and they pounced. Romano said, PSV director Marcel Brands, we're not going to make any announcements, but the transfer fee for Gakpo is a record transfer for PSV. Expectations that Liverpool will pay somewhere in the region of £37 million plus 30 million in add-ons. Klopp apparently has been crucial to complete the signing as he wanted a new winger because of the injuries, and it seems like the board have decided to act quickly despite the fact that they're under a possible takeover scenario the same way that United are. They were fast and convinced as they were 1 year ago with Luis Diaz, and now the deal is done and complete. Howard Nurse, BBC, said that Gakpo to United wasn't happening 2 weeks ago. He said Gakpo was considered but never a serious target for MUFC, and United scouting department never convinced of his level of development at this current time. On that, I'm not sure, because it did seem like, I think if you have to look at the way, there's only two possible things happened here. He either rejected United and chose Liverpool, which is plausible, I guess, but when you consider how quickly it was seemingly wrapped up and agreed last summer, I find that one a little bit more unlikely. I lean towards, I don't lean towards what Howard's saying either. I don't think he was, the fact that he was never a serious target, I think he was. I think some of the reports doing the rounds yesterday and some of the journalists that I spoke to in the last 24 hours as well seemed to say, like, yeah, United were in for him. And then, it's been agreed with Liverpool. So whether United were and ahhing on the fee or and ahhing on getting it over the line, reminds me a little bit of the Morata situation. And maybe that's me being hopeful, as I like to be. Maybe I'm projecting a little bit of like, okay, why did this go west a little bit then? Well, we did the video. If you've not seen the video, the worry with Cody Gakpo. And for United, he was not perfect. He's a good player. But he signing him asks as many questions as he answers. If you sign him, have you just scrap-heaped either Marcus Rashford or Jadon Sancho, or potentially both? Does he play 9 or off the left? Because if you want him to play as a 9, he's got things that he needs to add to his game. If you want to play him off the left, then, like we just said, someone got to go. You can't have as many wingers with Garnacho, Sancho, Rashford and Gakpo all vying for one position. Doesn't make any sense whatsoever. So I lean towards more that he was on a list for United. He might have even been very high up that list, but not number one. That's my take on it. Because he wasn't making the most sense for United to go all out for him. And of course, as the Manchester United fan base likes to do, it's decided it's an absolute disaster. And there'll be some people that try and milk this as an absolute disaster, but it's not an absolute disaster. We missed out on a promising player, but one that didn't make 100% sense for us. And you can't sign all the players. You got to be like, I want all of the players. Ten Hag said, when I analyse the first 14 games and Europe, so 20 games, we have a lot of problems in the front line, and often I had nothing to choose. Our players not 100% fit. We had to play them, and that was a problem during the first 20 games this season. We've lost a striker, so I need to get a striker in. And this is the key line here. But it has to be the right one who brings quality into the team and not just adding to the squad. The criteria is high at Manchester United. So you've got alternative options, and there's a lot of them. There's some of them that we saw at the World Cup, some of them that we identified a long time ago. And there are reports linking with Lincoln United with João Felix. And I think there's going to be fresh talks this week trying to find off a solution for João Felix. Atletico want him out. He seemingly wants to go. And he's a wonderful footballer. But for me, he ain't the archetype of a striker. I've seen some people mentioning Tadic in the same sort of, well, he could play as a false nine. Maybe. But I think English football is different. I think the way Ten Hag is trying to do it is different. I think you need someone that's going to lead the line a little bit more robustly than a João Felix. Well, I think João Felix is a hell of a footballer. I worry that he would get in too many of the positions that Bruno Fernandes gets into for us. And I know people are going to go, well, they played together at the World Cup. Yeah, they did. But you know what I mean? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? The alternatives that United could look to, you've got Goncalo Ramos. A heavy price tag has been slapped on him. The video of him tugging himself off has probably took a couple of mil off his price. Honestly, I'd half love to see it just for the way the internet would react every single time he scored or if he won something. Can you imagine? In terms of what he does off the field, yeah. In terms of what he does on the field, I think there's no doubts whatsoever. Such a young player, he's capable of doing a lot. I think he's shown how good he was for Portugal on top of the absolutely banging season that he's having this year already. A ridiculous season. What him and Gakpo have both done, actually, we looked at both of these guys in the summer, and what they've both done this season is an absolute madness. So Goncalo Ramos. I keep looping back round to Mitrovic. I think he ticks a lot of boxes. People are saying he's 28, he's too old. And I understand the need to not get a stopgap, but the stopgaps I've been looking at recently have been 35 and 33. 28 ain't that old. And the guy's just scored his 10th Premier League goal of the season this week. Let's not pretend this guy's a million years of age. I think he's scored 10 in 13. Something along those lines. Don't tell me this guy's not good enough for United, because he adds exactly what I see Ten Hag wanting out of a striker in this team. Of course, you've got João Felix. I think Breen Mbolo didn't make any sense for United a few years ago. The absolute horse of a man that he's grown into, I think, would make a hell of a lot of sense. You've got Openda, and I will do a scout report on Openda just for anyone who's interested. There's going to be a lot of talk. The fact that Ten Hag's out here going, we lost a striker, we need a striker, there's enough smoke. And I think United are going to get a striker. So I expect it to heat up. I actually thought yesterday morning when I was waking up, I was like, okay, so we're going with Gakpo then. Okay. But we're not. We are going in another direction, evidently. So we'll have to see who and how that plays out. But let me know in the comments. How arsed are you on a scale of 1 to 10 of missing out at Gakpo? And are you missing out because it's Liverpool, or are you missing out because you think that was the striker that we need? Because I think there's these two things at play there, isn't there? And do you think there's a better striker in there? Now, yes, someone like a Mitrovic would not be a longer term option, but if he suits the way we play, and this is my thing with João Felix, and I'll do a full video on this anyway. But João Felix to me represents what Ed Woodward would have done. Oh, big name. He's gone for loads of money. Right, yeah. Big sort of sexy name. Does he fit the way we play? And I am unsure about that. I actually lean more towards being sure that he isn't than I would be sure that he is. Anyway, let me know in the comments, and enjoy the game later. See you in a bit. Hey, thank you for watching the video. If you are new around these parts, then don't forget to subscribe. My channel is proudly supported by my community on Patreon. If you'd like to get a little bit of extra content, a Discord group, meetups, five-a-side games, weekly podcasts, behind the scenes, and even an occasional bit of transfer news as and when I get it, then for the price of a pint, you can show your appreciation for the content that we make and get some goodies for doing so as well. Check the link in the description or click the button right here. You'll also find all of my socials here too if you want to follow me on any of those platforms. Nice one.